Hello world, this is Craig. A little more than 3 years ago, my wife got me this Magimix see-through toaster, and it seems like a gimmick, but this thing's really a blast. You can watch the toast, and if you're really into toast, it's a fantastic thing. So the nice thing about this, it has a 3-year warranty, but unfortunately, she got this about 3 years and 4 months or so, and they really engineered this thing perfectly so that just a few months after the warranty expired is when it broke. So to get this thing apart, and basically what was happening was, the elements would turn on, you could put the toast down and hold it, and the elements would turn down, but the little latch over here that, is supposed to hold the toast down by itself, it wouldn't hold the toast down. And so you had to hold it and wait for your toast to be done and then let go of it. So I took it apart, and to get it apart, it's actually not too bad. There's 4 screws on the bottom on each side. So there's, I think, 3 or 4 screws over here. Looks like there's 3 screws on each side. So you take those 3 screws out. There's also a couple of hidden screws behind the little doors on the side. So you can see right here, there's a little machine screw there, and there's one on the opposite side over here. So you take those machine screws out, and then the ends lift up. You can basically just slide the ends. It lifts up a little bit. You pull the knob out and take the ends completely off. So once I got to that point, this is the control board. It's really nice that it doesn't have a overly complicated control board on it. So they didn't go to, they didn't make that any more difficult than it needed to be. And on the control board, it has this little solenoid, and this little solenoid has a latch on it, so that when you push the toast down, this little latch here on the bottom of this little toaster slider thing is caught by this, and as soon as the elements turn on, this little guy holds closed, and so it holds it, and then when the toast is done, this releases and lets that spring pop back up again. And so it's a pretty simple part of the circuit down here. There's no microcontrollers or anything, just some timing circuits and so forth. But first thing I did was I ohmed out this little coil, and I found that I wasn't getting, it was 2 mega ohms between the terminals on this coil. So these 2 terminals are just to secure it to the circuit board. This is the little hinge that the latch sits on. These secure to the circuit board, and these 2 back here in the back are the ones that are actually touching the coil. Well, I took my little soldering pump and I desoldered these 4, popped this out, and I could see what I thought was the problem. You can see there's these little tiny fine wires, just enameled magnet wire that comes off of the coil and goes up and it wraps around these posts. So you can see this is what it looks like originally in this one right here. So it just comes up, it goes in this little trench, and it's either mechanically or it's soldered on that little post. But the problem is you can just see that this one not so much, but this one over here, the one that I repaired, was really, really tight. I mean, they had stretched that around that corner, and so they mechanically took it out and then they wrapped it around that post, and it was just tight. So just what happened was it broke that wire in this corner where it was going over that corner. So what I did was I took my razor blade and I very gingerly pulled that wire out because you can see, this is the coil down here, and this is the wire that goes into the center of the coil. So it goes behind this, and once it goes down there, it's lost because this doesn't come back apart. So there's only a couple of millimeters here of wire that you have to play with. But fortunately, it was mostly stripped. They must have chemically stripped that little enamel off, or maybe they mechanically did it, and that's part of the problem. But at any rate, what I did was I cleaned that off, and I could tell, I measured that I had 2 mega ohms between the 2 terminals, but between the little clearing on the wire down here and the terminal, on this side I had just 5 ohms or so, and on this side over here I had the 2 mega ohms. So that's made it obvious that I knew exactly where the break was. It was somewhere I couldn't see. So as I said, I pulled those wires out, and then I measured from here over to the clean spot on the little magnet wire here for the coil, and I got, I think, 295 ohms. So I cleaned that up. I dug a little well here so that even after I did my little patch, this would be level with the circuit board. I then took my enamel wire, which is quite a bit bigger, as you can see. I stripped a piece back, and then I mechanically wrapped it around this post a couple of times. So even if this solder remelts a little bit, this isn't going anywhere. I brought it over around the edge a little bit, and then I carefully, and made sure that I didn't put any stress on it, I overlapped these two wires, the magnet wire coming from the coil and my piece of magnet wire, and then I put a little dollop of solder on it right there to hold those together. Okay, so then I measured from post to post, and I have the 295 ohms, so it looks like I'm good. Okay, so now all I got to do is put it back in the circuit board, solder it, and hopefully that's going to take care of it. Didn't get my bench cleaned off. Okay, so this goes on the circuit board like that, all the way down. Okay, let me resolder that. Okay, let me measure that again. There's a freewheeling diode on that, so there will be a little bit of a diode drop if I measure it in that mode, but if I just measure the resistance, what I'm getting across that coil now, let's see, which two are the coil? Oh, these up here. Okay, so 288.9, so 290 ohms, which is about right. So it drops down, almost 10 ohms being in the circuit. Here you can see the little latch on the coil that's supposed to hold it. So when this part goes down, see, that grabs a hold of that little latch, and then that coil energizes and it's supposed to hold it. Okay, so I got this back in. I made sure that the wires are back where they belong, because there's some mechanical levers here that need to be clear of the wires, and there's a bracket that holds the circuit board down, but I left that upstairs on the kitchen counter. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this thing in and see if it holds itself down. Okay, remember this thing is live, so I'm going to be somewhat careful with it. See, now how am I going to put that toast down without touching it? Okay, let me push it down, and voila! Okay, it holds it. So you can see that it's holding it just right. So that indeed was the problem. And I push the button, and that'll let go of it, and it'll pop up. All right, well, that is good, because I don't know how much my wife spent on this toaster, but I'm sure it wasn't cheap. And every morning I got a lot of pleasure out of this, so I'm glad that I got this thing fixed. Okay, well, that's what I wanted to show you today. It has nothing to do with what I normally do, but this interrupted my day, so I thought I'd interrupt your day with a change of pace. Okay, thanks for watching. Talk with you later. Bye.